Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and today's video is all about hopeful messages from your spirit guides. I think we can all agree that right now, any kind of hope and positivity is very much needed. This was a wonderful suggestion by one of you guys. And unfortunately, I lost the comment. I'm so sorry. I saw it, was completely inspired, and then I don't know where it went. I tried, I looked. If you know who you are, please comment below so we can all send you that much more hope and love and positivity for this wonderful idea. I also wanted to put a PSA out there. Somebody commented on one of my videos the other day thinking I had stopped doing pick-a-cards. No, I love doing pick-a-cards. Pick-a-cards are not ending. I just started doing zodiac signs because I felt called to, and I really love it, and I love doing a hybrid of the two. So the zodiac signs are going to continue, the pick-a-cards are going to continue. If there's anything else you guys would like me to focus on or put some emphasis in or do a specific pick-a-card about, I'd be happy to. So I just wanted to put both of those concepts out there. Anyways, as you can see, we have 4 wonderful tarot card decks in front of us, or groups, not decks. We have a couple decks, but we have 4 groups in front of us. I want you to pick the group that you resonate with most. I'm going to give you a moment to do so. Now that you have, you can skip to your designated group and mark timestamp by checking the description below. But let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at those hopeful messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. Oh, I love this for you. This is already an extremely hopeful message. Oh, I love this. This is so sweet. This is... you can't see my face right now, but I'm smiling so hard for you. This is a message very much needed to be heard because you think that you're somehow messing up or something's off or you're not on the right path, and you're actually doing great. You're incredibly wise, and you're much more in tune with your inner compass than you're giving yourself credit for. And we actually have the positive confirmation that things are going to work out insanely well, way better than you had hoped for. So I'm excited to get into all of that. So first I want to start off with the Queen of Cups, because this is an important contrast to how you think you know how you feel, but how you're feeling compared to what is actually happening in the talisman. So the Queen of Cups is emotionally imbalanced feeling, but we can get more specific than that. I always like to use the Queen of Cups analogy as the surfer. So the Queen of Cups is meant to be somebody who understands the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, and they are able to see each event as just as important, or as, I guess, detached or insignificant, you could say, whatever measurement you want to put on it, but the same as the next. So they never get quite caught up in the stuff that feels uncomfortable or feels like something defining, because they don't let it define them. And then when something happy and joyous happens, yes, they enjoy it, but they understand that it's not the only one. They don't need to get hooked on it. So everything feels like they see the bigger picture because they understand how to ride the wave, if that makes sense. So it's not just having sort of a bird's eye perspective or like a third party objective view on a situation. It's about having that perspective while being in the circumstance still, having firsthand experience. This is why you think of the surfer analogy. They are riding the wave. Yes, they fall, but they get back up. They don't think it's forever, but that's not from a lack of hope perspective, if that makes sense. And when it's in reverse, it just feels like you keep focusing on the waves crashing or not catching enough, or when you get it, there's this anxiousness around riding the wave, hoping that it will last forever, and it feels very uncomfortable and overwhelming, to be honest with you, and it can make a lot of people feel like they're lost or something's off with them internally. But here's the thing that's so interesting. It might be rough to experience and your emotions are valid, but we're getting confirmation over here in the talisman that you're doing an incredibly amazing job. right now the waters feel rough and your emotions, I mean, it's overwhelming, but that doesn't mean you're not making the right decisions. The talisman is the confirmation from your spirit guides that you have earned the wisdom to make the right decisions. You can see the red flags, you can see your enemies, and you can also see your friends. You can make decisions because it's not about you never experiencing things that are uncomfortable again, or seeing the warning signs, but it's that you see them. It's that you live life and you're like, oh, well, I can go forward, and someone goes, oh, but that's a dangerous path, and you're like, no, that's fine, because when I'm not going to fall into any of the traps, I'm not going to run into any of the wrong people, I'm not going to make any of the wrong decisions, because I'll see them. Yeah, I wish they weren't there, I wish the path was all sunshine and rainbows, but I'm not even going to have to deal with the drama of getting involved with these traps because I'm so in tuned. This is somebody who is always perpetually moving forward, and it doesn't matter if the path they choose, like maybe they pick a quicker path and that involves a little more, intensity, but they can handle it, or they want to take their time. Whatever it is, you're moving forward, and it's about saying you can trust yourself, you can trust the universe, you can take more risks because you'll know when it's not the time to make it. So it's about understanding that your intuition's working just fine, but your experience has given you can give you the comfort. Like, you've learned enough lessons. You know what to do now. So if you're ever like, oh, maybe I'm learning a lesson. No, you've learned them. You're good to go. If your gut reaction is to get out of there, if your gut reaction is to get involved, go with it. You will know what to do. And therefore, what I'm trying to basically say is that you don't have to be careful, I guess is the word. You can live life. That's what I want to say. It's not about the being careful. It's you can live life and not have any fear because you're totally in tune with your inner compass and intuition. That's how I want to put it. It's a wonderful compliment. It doesn't mean you emotionally feel a little rough, but what will help smooth out the emotions is realizing how you can handle it and how well you're handling it. That's how I want to put it. So anyways, continuing on over here, your inner compass gets involved and shown and reflected and confirmed again in the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Wands in reverse. So we sort of are, well, we are, not sort of, the universe experiencing ourselves. And often we are giving ourselves a language or metaphors back to say back to ourselves, hey, something's not working. It's like we're subconsciously communicating with ourselves. And yours is working just fine. In fact, yours is pretty straightforward. It actually doesn't put you in too many difficult situations at this very moment. And what can feel in the moment and cause you emotional imbalance and make you start to doubt yourself or whatever, don't let it. Listen to the signs that you're giving yourself. So the Two of Pentacles is when things start to slip up because you're feeling overworked or overwhelmed, maybe too much on your plate energy-wise, and this is a sign to let some things go and focus on less things, maybe less energy sources, less physical projects, whatever that is. You'll understand what you're physically taking on and what to kind of unload, so to speak. Now, the comfort with this is these are small errors. These are not big deal errors. So this can often trick people into thinking, oh, is it going to add up to something more? And it's like, no, it's fine. It's very leisurely. It's not it's the safest and easiest method of speaking to yourself, because sometimes when we're trying to let ourselves know something's up or something's wrong or something's not fitting, it can be something pretty dramatic and overwhelming and even kind of unforgettable. This won't be the case for you. So you're getting a much more straightforward, gentler method that you need to unload some stuff. That gets confirmed over here in the Ten of Wands, talking about tension needing to be released. And this is how you express to yourself, oh, I need to let something go. So that letting go, we can actually get even more specific than that over here in this interaction. So this is the confirmation in both of these cards, if you can believe it or not. I know it's very easy to see the Three of Swords and not assume like it's positive, but it is actually, in fact, especially with this interaction. The Nine of Cups in reverse is basically saying, whatever your wildest dreams are, you're going to be getting them. This is absolutely amazing. This could be a partner you've hoped for, a dream job. This could be maybe you just want a positive ending right now, and this is the confirmation that like you're gonna get it. You're really gonna get it, and you should get so pumped and excited and really put that wish out there, what you specifically want, because you're going to get it. However, when it's in reverse, it comes with a catch. But in this case, it still feels like a Nine of Cups upright situation, because that catch is still working in your favor. So over here we have the Three of Swords. The catch is you having to let go of a certain mindset. The thing is, this mindset, this thing not working anymore, is kind of painful to let go of. It's overwhelming. Sometimes it involves somebody else, like an interaction with somebody else. Sometimes it's a mindset that we depended on and we thought was serving us, and sometimes it can involve pride, where it's like, no, like, you know how sometimes people have trouble letting go of their anger because they rely on it. It's their comfort, it's their shield, and when you let it go and have to be so open and vulnerable and trust, it can feel like a part of you, you're leaving a part of you behind. And this is basically the comfort of saying it might feel that way, but that's not the case. It was hurting you. It's a great thing that it's being left out of your life. And that's the thing that needs to be left behind in order for you to receive this. So you get this win-win of a happy ending and an evolution of yourself, because what was no longer serving you will not be taken in the future, and therefore no longer hurt you or overwhelm you. But I do want to point out that this is a difficult transition. Sometimes that's why people associate the Three of Swords with like a feeling of betrayal or extreme hurt, because that's what it can feel like. It can sometimes even feel like you're betraying yourself, or what feels like you're being betrayed by maybe your work situation or a significant other person is actually a blessing in disguise. This is a difficult transition and process and idea, but that doesn't mean it's not worth letting go of, which is really beautiful. So we can basically say that you're going to be relieving some tension in your life, actually an intense amount. It's going to get better. It's not going to feel so intense anymore. What feels like you're messing up is actually just a nice, beautiful clue to yourself. You're just trying to say, hey, let's kind of focus on less right now. It'd be better. So that means your internal compass and system is working just fine. We get that confirmation here. This is the confirmation that you shouldn't feel hesitant or not believe in yourself just because you feel emotionally off. You're working just great and fine. You're making the right decisions. You will continue to make the right decisions, not only based on your intuition, but what you've experienced. What was a painful past is serving you quite well now, and is kind of that beautiful. And this might be really hard to hear right now, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, and you can process it in your own time. You can believe it or not believe it, but this is truly an example of everything worked out exactly the way it needed to. Some people believe in the idea of karmic contracts, and this is saying like your karmic contract is working just great, and it's now hitting that more positive stride that will feel a lot better and feel like, oh, this all was meant to happen. I feel really happy that it did, but I'm also really happy that I'm on the other side. I'm no longer experiencing all this other jazz. So I'm excited for you. What feels bad is actually quite good, and it has a very, very, very happy ending. If you enjoy this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at those hopeful messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. We have listening, oracle card. Ooh, actually elephant's here. Hello. Oh, okay. They are pointing to the Empress card. Sorry, I'm just like looking at them right now. Okay. Okay, this is... Oh, okay, this is so comforting and sweet. Okay, cool. Let me look at the cards. Let me figure some stuff out. Oh, okay, this is super sweet. So I will tell you what Elephant said when we get to Empress, but let's get started with what's vibing right now and then all the beautiful kind of comfort that comes with that. So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse definitely is talking about that feeling of cycles and it feeling like maybe a cycle that is not the greatest right now. It feels like a down. But the thing that's really interesting with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is it also talks about the idea of karma. And right now I'm being told about the idea of good karma and bad karma and the reality of that not being a thing, but I'm being told that needs to be discussed right now. Essentially, with karma, this is something that we haven't forgiven ourselves from. This is when we do something and it kind of stays with us. We're meant to be unburdened. Sometimes karma can manifest when we make a promise and then we carry that promise or vow over multiple lifetimes. That's not necessarily bad, you would agree, but we're not meant to carry that on, inflict, or anything like that. So it's this feeling of like bad karma being processed. But you're being told it's actually not bad karma, it's just karma being processed. It's like shadow work. It's a good thing. If we want to have no more of this discomfort or heaviness, it needs to be processed. It needs to be let go. So that's essentially the cycle working itself out right now in a really great way. But it feels super uncomfortable when we have the Hangman in reverse. This talks about our subconscious and this feeling of being forced to go out there when you're maybe not ready. It's like an intensely vulnerable feeling because, I did not know I was unfocusing it. There we go. Sorry about that. When it's so the Hangman is somebody who's being forced to go out there when they are not ready. And they have to go experience the world for better or worse. And I'm being told that your subconscious is being put out there on the table and it just feels like something you can't quite shield. You're not ready to be that vulnerable, and it is an incredibly overwhelming feeling, especially with such intense energy over here with karma being processed in the Wheel of Fortune. Now, we do have the positive omen over here in the Seven of Wands that this thing that you're overcoming and battling with, you're going to win. It's going to be fine. It's worth fighting for. Keep doing it. You're doing great. You're going to win. Keep going. But this is a lot of very intense energy. It can cause us to feel, I don't want to say scattered, but feel like we need an answer of what to do next and feel vulnerable. But I actually have a lot of positive stuff to say. So first off, with the listening card, it talks about the fact that the answer you need, especially we're going to get more specific over here in the Seven of Wands in reverse situation, is already. Oh, I just realized they're confirmed. That's so beautiful. Oh, I love that. I'm usually so quick to pick up on that. That's beautiful. This is the answer you need, or I can get more specific now. The Seven of Wands situation in reverse is when you feel like you're losing and you're burnt out and you're not quite sure what to do next. The listening is saying that the answer you need will come to you by being quiet and looking around. You don't need to act, you don't need to think, it's right there, but by being quiet and looking and listening, you're receiving the information you need to overcome this situation. And we do have the confirmation that you will and everything will be okay. But it also talks about, sorry, I'm like channeling so hard right now. Hold on, it's giving me like a second to focus. What was I saying? I'm so sorry. I've been really, like, my third eye's been, like, going crazy during this time period, so it kind of makes it hard to focus when I'm, like, receiving so much stuff simultaneously. Anyways, what was I saying? But listening is also the comfort of saying, when it feels like you're doing nothing, you're actually still doing something. It can be, feel like you're losing by not always being able to take action sometimes. Do you see what I'm saying? But I'm really excited to say that elephant actually popped up in the beginning of this reading, as you remember and we were talking about, and pointed to the Empress card and showed up with a whole fleet of other elephants. Like, you know how, I don't know if you're aware of this, but elephants move in a matriarchal system, so there'll be a ton of them. There'll be like the main grandmother, and then there's all these other wonderful family members together, and you're basically being shown that you are being protected. There's a whole crew with you, both spiritually, them looking over you. I kind of get the feeling that they're also pointing to ancestor stuff. They're more focusing on showing me the actual like animal spirit guides are more with you, but that can also relate to your ancestors are with you, the people you're currently with, they're your crew, they've got you, and you are being watched over, and you're going to be taken care of, which is really beautiful. So do not hesitate to reach out to them, say, please protect me, please watch over me, please help me listen better so I can see what I need to see in order to get the answers I need to get, because you're telling me they're there, but I need a little help. You can always reach out and they can always help you and make it more obvious. But also, the Empress card is somebody who focuses on self-care. I know this is kind of a bizarre thing to pop up in so much intensity and things that feel almost like otherworldly and outside of ourselves, but the Empress card says don't forget to have self-love and self-care. Change happens when we are able to work on ourselves and take care of ourselves first. If we can be there for ourselves, we can be there for other people. So do not be shy about taking some extra time amongst this vulnerable feelings to do whatever you need to do. This could be a beautiful beauty routine, or maybe going for a walk, or just talking to someone you care about, or just being quiet and taking some time to rest and like turn off your phone and relax and be away from certain, vibrations and energy and information. Because when you take on that mentality that there's all this hope and love within inside you, that's the thing that's not only going to fuel you and keep you going, but it's going to make you realize that there's nothing that can be taken away from you. You are infinite. You are always full of love. It's just about understanding and connecting to that, and then kind of fostering it more. And abundance that you seek is right here, right now. Just give it some love. You need it. It's your little internal hug you're giving yourself. Your spirit guides are for sure showing up and giving that as well. Elephant's right now nodding its head and putting its forehead to mine. So that's really beautiful. Oh, thank you. So you've got a crew with you in multiple spiritual realms, you could say, this one and others. So understand that what seems really difficult is needing to happen. It needs to process so we can finally let it go, let it heal, let go of this karma finally. I know it feels really overwhelming to have your subconscious put out there and feel really raw. That makes sense. If you feel that way, comfort yourself through knowing you're being protected and taken care of, but just genuine self-love and self-care. Keep going if you would like to. If you are stopping because you think you're somehow going to lose and something's not going to work out, no, you're going to do great. You're going to win because you have support, and also just the confirmation that you will. But if you need a more clear answer of like, well, what do I do next? Apparently the answer is right in front of you. Often I do want to point this out as last thing. The listening card often pops up when people are saying stuff, and it's about suddenly like listening to them and kind of like reading between the lines of what they're saying. Do you catch my drift? Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm very happy and excited for you, and I'm also excited for you that elephant showed up. That's always very exciting. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful, wonderful, hopeful day. I am wishing you the best. Let's get ready. Oh, I'll see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at those hopeful messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. Yeah. Wishing well. Oracle card upright, Ten of Cups in reverse, the Magician in reverse, the King of Cups in reverse, the Star in reverse, and Knight of Cups upright. Oh, okay, so we have two different messages specifically going on, and I'm going to be sharing both because these are for two different circumstances. One is for a relationship stance, and the other one's more of a message of like just yourself and the feeling of like destiny and connecting to that and stuff like that. But we'll get into that in a second. So just keep in mind for both. So for people in a relationship, this would specifically be an unhappy relationship. We can see that over here in the Ten of Cups in reverse. This is a feeling of putting a band-aid over a bigger circumstance, or like sweeping things under the rug and keep trying to perpetuate the image to yourself or potentially to other people that you're in a happy relationship. Let me just make sure that's in focus. There we go. And I feel so bad because what's throwing you off, it's like you want this. That's understandable. We can see that over here in the wishing well. That's okay that you want this, but the feeling of something being off and you sensing it is not just in your head. We have confirmation over here for sure in the Magician card in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse is somebody who can be very jealous and codependent, and they're making a lot of choices that hurt you basically because of this. They what seems like they have the power or seems overwhelming, or you feel like you're trying to make them happy and then that's a connection, is based on more of their own personal problems they need to work through. And a lot of that comes through in the Magician card. So a lot of what they're showing you essentially is fake. They want to appear a certain way, and it obviously, like, if they're not who they are basically selling themselves as, and this is the version of them you want, you know, it makes sense. It feels like something's off, and you're like, I should be happy I'm with this person I feel like is the person I want to be with, but why do I still feel like I'm making excuses, or I see something and I'm kind of ignoring it? I know I feel it, but I should be happy, but I don't understand. You know what I mean? You're actually working great internally, and you have a right for feeling that way because this isn't the person, well, you think they are. Now you might say, well, where's the hopeful message? Well, the wishing well also acts as an aha moment of like, oh, wait a minute, it's not you, or no, it's not me, it's you. You know what I mean? And then this is where it's really beautiful, because you do know what you want and you understand that this person isn't that. That's the spark, that's the aha moment. See, the Star card is so destiny filled and an extremely positive omen matched with the Knight of Cups that the person that you are hoping for is actually right around the corner. They are waiting to reach out to you. I don't have confirmation. I can't say specifically if it is like a secret admirer. Okay, Spirit is actually telling me it is a bit of a secret admirer type of thing. And they're waiting to tell you that they're into you. There's an excitement around it. With the Star card signifying such a heavy destiny vibe, this could be like a soulmate. This could be the big one kind of vibe and circumstance going on. And I'm really excited for you. But by being aware that it's great that you know who you want, but being able to better identify who matches that version of what you want, well, you know, then it welcomes into your life that person, which is really great and wonderful. In addition to that, for the more general circumstance we're talking about, this is the feeling of sweeping things under the rug and feeling like something's off. And well, there is a bit something off, but interestingly enough, you're confusing it for yourself, but it's actually about your resistance to the happiness that you're owed and that is ultimately happening and occurring. It's just almost like a feeling of something's on a different timeline, it's like off. You feel you're off, and so that's why it makes you feel like you're without it or losing it, but it's right there. It's just about matching that frequency and vibration, if that makes sense, and we can talk about that. And that does not necessarily mean you have to feel perfect, but it's about understanding something important. So the Magician card is sort of our imposter syndrome card for you. So it's just feeling like you're faking it, or you're not good enough, or they have more experience, you don't, that kind of idea. You get what I'm saying if you're familiar with the concept of imposter syndrome. And that's where our King of Cups come in. Sometimes when we're trying to make ourselves feel better, we try to over control our emotions rather than process them and then let them go, which is a tall order, I might add. A lot of people say, oh, process emotions, don't repress them, but they don't really tell you how to process them. So it makes sense that you're trying to understandably kind of filter out the emotions you don't want to experience, and maybe overthink and get overwhelmed when you're flooded with the ones you don't want to have, and you just feel like you can't quite get a handle on it, and you're trapped in this mindset of being like, am I supposed to fake it till I make it? Because for many situations and circumstances that is the answer, but for you just feel kind of like more and more like lost or defeated or confused within yourself. But that sort of controlling of your emotions and figuring stuff out goes again back to the idea of the Ten of Cups in reverse situation of like sweeping problems under the rug. And when you have the Ten of Cups upright, this is when emotions are flowing very easily. That includes good and bad. So I just want you to understand, if you don't feel great, then don't feel great. Let that flow. Let that be natural. I understand that is not a fun emotion to experience, but it will like go through pretty quickly and fast. That's the thing that's causing you to have your imposter syndrome, if that makes sense. But let's get a little more clear and definitive about that. The wishing well is absolutely amazing as a counterpart to your Magician card, because like I said before, it acts as the aha moment. It's realizing something important about yourself, what you want, just kind of getting very clear of like, oh, I'm forcing this, or oh, it's not me, it's this, or it's relaxing, taking a second, understanding that aha moment is literally right there. It's the understanding of the relationship between intention and desire, and backing away, letting yourself having that aha moment. It's right there. It's just on the tip of your tongue. And once you have it, this wishing well card essentially says you need to let the universe kind of like work itself out. So you have to, let go of the reins, stop controlling your emotions, stop controlling how you think people need to perceive you, how you need to perceive yourself. You have to kind of just let it flow, because it is going to flow in your favor. We have confirmation again of that with the Ten of Cups and the Star card and the Knight of Cups. Everything's going to work out in your favor. It's like right there, but you're trying to act as sort of like a barrier in a river, and you need to get out and understand the river's flowing just fine. You're going to be so excited and happy about the river flowing. You want it to flow, but for some reason you think that you need to be a part of what is a natural process and already working in your favor. And that's understandable. I just want to point that out. We tend to do that when we feel uncomfortable. It's like kind of our involuntary gut reaction to smooth things over because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. But the Star card is the beautiful confirmation that like, yeah, you're fine. You're totally on the right path and destiny in a very large way. However, I can see when it's in reverse, you're just not believing that. You don't believe in yourself, lack of hope. You think it's out of your wheelhouse. You can't quite see it. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean you're not in the right direction. In fact, we have the confirmation that you're in the right direction. Sometimes it can feel like a Star card in reverse situation, which just basically means that when we're on our destiny, sometimes it's like stepping into the darkness and we can't quite see the path. But whether we can or can't doesn't mean we're not still moving forward, if that makes sense. But with the way it's associated with the Knight of Cups is like straight up hearing and receiving this sort of love and affection and good promises we were hoping to receive. And it's there. You're going to have it, whatever that definition is for you, whether this be with another person or kind of like in general hopeful messages from the universe or goals, whatever it is, these good tidings. you think that you're chasing it and it's like moving away from you. And so the more and more you feel like you're chasing it, the more and more that imposter syndrome kicks in, and you want to control things and appear a certain way and try to attract it. And essentially that aha is realizing you're not chasing it, you're moving with it. You're not moving against it, you're moving like you're the good tidings. I know this seems super like woo-woo kind of concept, but that's the best way I can explain it. And by embodying and understanding that you're moving along in the party with the Knight of Cups, you'll realize that the Knight of Cups turns around to you and shares its message, and then you're moving along with the Knight of Cups to spread that message with other people, and so on and so forth. It's not just blanketly about it turning around and then you receiving those messages. You're going along for the ride, which is pretty big, which is why I think it's so interesting you got the Magician card in reverse, because that implies you do have a bigger role to play than just purely receiving good things. There's something you're influencing on a larger scale to not only benefit from yourself, but benefit other people. So that's pretty beautiful. No wonder the Destiny kind of card, or not kind of, the Destiny card popped up. If you enjoyed this reading and it made you feel lots of hope and love and joy, and I hope it did, I'm excited for you to feel better and realize like you're doing great and you're completely on the right path, and just to connect and wake up to that. Please consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe, and it means a lot to me. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Let's get ready though for group number 4. Group number 4, let's look at those hopeful messages from your spirit guides by looking at the cards. We have Coming Apart Oracle card upright. Don't worry, that's actually a lot more positive than it seems. Oh, wow. Whoa. That's fantastic. Let me look at these other cards. Oh, I love this. I love this so much for you. Oh, this fills me with so much joy. This is absolutely fantastic. So we are going to get to the good stuff in a moment, but I want to talk about the stuff that you're going to be letting go of, essentially. So Coming Apart, I mean, it's a pretty overwhelming concept, but it's a card with positive like omen or timing, so to speak. It's saying that if you feel like you're coming apart, things feel not great, it means something's not working for you anymore. I want to emphasize that this card in this particular meaning emphasizes the idea of letting go of promises. And you might say, promises, what do you mean? Well, we're talking on a really grand scale here. So I don't know if you know this, but you make promises and vows sometimes without even meaning to, and you carry these as sort of contracts on your soul the rest of your many timelines. So sometimes, unbeknownst to us, we understand, or that's not the word I want to say, that we make some sort of a vow and then we feel really off and we can't explain why in this timeline. Like sometimes people make like vows of poverty and then they struggle in this timeline with it, and they're like, they don't understand, like, what did they do wrong, what happened? And little do they know they can just undo a vow and get rid of it and overcome it, and then essentially open themselves up for the true reality of whatever they want. So something's not working and it's deeply affecting you, and you're basically being lovingly told by the universe, now is a perfect time to let that go. That's something to really contemplate and do some shadow work on. But I can get more specific in many cases and talk about it being a specific person, especially when we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. This can be a friend, but this can also be a romantic situation. Whoever this is, this other person in your life, when they are trying to express themselves to you, it is insincere. It is for themselves. This is somebody who is doing it more for their own, like, ego. It can get kind of confusing when you're experiencing these type of people, because it feels good when you're with them, and then you feel like they pull away from you, and it's confusing, and it's like in your soul, you know something's off, So you're confused because you just want them to like you or give you positive attention, and it feels like they do, but the words feel like they're empty on a deep, again, subconscious level, and you're not quite sure. Well, basically, that off feeling or that confusion you're experiencing is because your intuition is working fantastically. And essentially, you're being told, this is the person to let go. They don't really mean or have intentions in the long run of, building you up or being with you. And as much as that's difficult to hear, it's worth letting them go because you have a way more positive and happy future and circumstance around you, essentially. So judgment is like a super tall order in a good way. It is essentially heeding the call. It is a big destiny bound thing. Often this pops up when the universe is testing us, but in your case you're not being tested in a negative way. You think that this relationship and this circumstance and these feelings are the test. Not at all. They're just the things in the way of the test. Now the test is not going to be uncomfortable, I'm really happy to say. With the Eight of Pentacles, we can be shown that it is more involved with what you can do. This is going to be heavily tied around things like what you ultimately want to do in life career-wise and what you're working on. I want to point out that the Eight of Pentacles pops up when you really need to focus on those little details and giving whatever you're doing your all, because those little details, the things that, make what you do stand out, is what's going to ultimately make you the person everyone wants to go to. But we're not just talking on a level of like you earning more money, and this is the confirmation of you being recognized for your hard work and being like, oh wow, they're the person to go to, they know what's up. It's about your work having a really big long-term effect on others. It's about people seeing your work and then being inspired themselves. It's about your work positively changing the world. It's really big and beautiful. But again, all you have to do is just do the work, and you don't even need to overthink it. Just have a good time. Think about how you can, improve even more. Little tiny details of how you can spruce it up. Just really put your love and soul into this because it is working and it is worth it. This other person's in the way and they don't need to be a part of that, this other circumstance, and this is the thing you can let go so you can focus on that. But this person is standing in the way of the key thing that you need in order to kind of have that Eight of Pentacles sort of energy you're going to be really enjoying. And I do want to point out this is something that you want, and you're going to have a great time losing yourself in, and just you're going to find such a calling in this, which I'm really excited for you with. So the Sun card is the need to really feel good and comfortable in your own skin. And this card is saying that's something you're going to focus on right now. How can you feel and be confident about who you are right now, no matter who you're around? And how can you connect to that? That can be anything from self-love and self-care to positive affirmations, but it's about understanding that. We know one major way you can do that is letting go of someone that makes you feel off or self-conscious, like you've done something wrong, when they're the person doing the action that's wrong. You get what I'm saying. And that's essentially the energy that's going to be brought over into the the Eight of Pentacles, because the Eight of Pentacles is someone who doesn't need to who doesn't have any doubt of who they are, feels completely comfortable, and therefore is able to think more clearly. They feel more just in their decisions when working on their craft, and so on and so forth. So as you work on your craft, you don't have to feel perfect right now. Consider what can you do each moment of each day. That can include standing up for yourself and telling someone how you really feel and believe. That's about wearing your favorite outfit right now. Like maybe you want to wear something more comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe you're meant to wear something a little more silly, a little more specific, your dream outfit. Whatever that is, I'm just giving you very short examples. It can get even more bigger and wider than that. That's what you need to focus on right now, and that's going to restore what you feel like they're taking away from you. Keep in mind, they're not taking you away from anything. That coming apart feeling is actually you like, okay, so we speak to ourselves, we're the universe experiencing it ourselves, and it's like you're mirroring the energy they're putting out there. So you're trying to communicate with yourself. They are doing two opposing ideas at the same time, and you feel that, and it feels uncomfortable. Do you get what I'm saying? And basically, the Sun card is the total opposite of that. It's a oneness and unification within yourself and complete celebration of it, which is beautiful. Now, I do see that in confirmation of the Knight of Pentacles, it is going to take a little while. So again, it doesn't mean you can't achieve all your dreams right now. If you don't feel absolutely perfect and comfortable in your skin, be patient and kind and loving to yourself. That's the major thing that the Knight of Pentacles is essentially saying. But the Knight of Pentacles is, again, our double confirmation with the Judgment card that this is like some pretty big stuff you're working on. And I do want to point out, Spirit's telling me, you might say, well, I don't know, I just do this silly little job and like, I don't know, it's not. Yes, apparently it's a really big deal. It doesn't matter if it seems like it's not. You're being double confirmed, well, triple confirmed, because Spirit's pointing it out, that it is a bigger deal than you're giving it credit for. The Knight of Pentacles talks about the, I guess you could say, the goodliness of this, because it talks about doing something for the greater good, the like doing the right thing for the sake of the right thing, which is really beautiful and wonderful energy to bring into the world and for yourself and to others. So I love that, and I love that for you. So I'm really excited for you, because you have kind of this tall order you're just naturally undertaking. There's nothing you need to do. Something that you're going to really enjoy and have a lot of self-confidence in is going to benefit yourself, other people, fulfill your destiny. And this other person, you know what to do. You'll make the right decision. Again, this is a pretty wide scope. This can be anything from a family member, acquaintance, a friend. I just want to put that all out there so you can better identify who the culprit is, so to speak. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. I am wishing you the best, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!